I guess we'll see what the maiden's true ending is. You are a maiden. You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon overlord's castle. You are told that you are fated to be captured by the overlord one day because you are a beautiful young girl. Demon overlords apparently love capturing those. You think of how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone, but maybe the demons just haven't been given the opportunity. Who knows? You are in church, you pray to your god, asking why you have been born into this role of maiden. You respect the divine plan and all, but you're really just curious as to what the point of it is. You are impatient. Meeting a demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were to just hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forth to find a demon just to, see what happens. Not long into your little adventure, a demon underling appears before you. It looks pretty scary. Introduce yourself. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you were to hurry up and get taken away by a demon already. The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. They agree to take you to their master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you are introduced to the overlord. She exorcises the underling that brought you here, who was apparently told to not leave their post. You wonder what cruel punishment awaits them. But to your surprise, she lets them off easy. The underling is dismissed, and the overlord turns to you, looking very interested. You explain why you've come, and she squints at you. It turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens, or to do anything else that would agitate the humans. You wonder for a moment if she might be lying, but it doesn't really seem like it. Still, this doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that demons would one day seek you out and something awful would happen. Then a hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough. You ask the overlord what you should do to be a more suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about destiny so much. She makes it sound so simple. This overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk with her more. The overlord tells you again that you should get lost. How rude. You just got here. Obey. You don't want to cause any trouble, so you figure it's time to go home. Along the way, you encounter a hero. He asks you what you're doing. Don't you know the overlord's castle's like right there? You explain everything that happened. He is very surprised that demons don't seem to be as malicious as you were raised to believe. The two of you return to the village, hoping to communicate this to everyone. They had all been so worried and are very glad that the hero brought you back. You quickly set the record straight. You weren't rescued because there was nothing to be rescued from in the first place. The villagers seem confused and look to the hero for an explanation. He tells them he only ran into you on his way to the castle, and that this isn't really his story to tell. You explain to them how you met the overlord and that she's not actually interested in capturing maidens, or other mean things like that. The villagers look again to the hero for confirmation. You feel a little miffed that they seem to prefer his word over yours, but you don't say anything about it. The hero proclaims that he believes your story, but volunteers to go talk to the demons himself just to make absolutely sure. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You hear words like trickery and demon sympathizer being thrown around, which makes you frown. You're pretty shocked that everyone's this hesitant to believe you. Does the hero even trust you? You aren't sure anymore. An old man implores the hero to go speak with the overlord immediately. He says you should be held prisoner and considered dangerous until the hero returns. Much to your disbelief, the crowd agrees with him. Because of course, if you're conspiring with the demons, they can't afford to let their guard down. The whole village would be slaughtered by monsters. The hero isn't saying anything. You'll be tied up and tossed into a cell at this rate. If you're going to be held captive by anyone, it's going to be the overlord, not your fellow countrymen. Let's grab the hero and run! You boldly announce that you'll accompany the hero to prove yourself. You'd rather risk what's out there instead of staying in a village that doesn't trust you. No one seems to know how to react. You grab the hero by the wrist and take off before anyone stops you. Near the castle's entrance, you spy a group of suspicious demons congregating. They're talking about assassinating the overlord. You have to warn her. But the hero shakes his head. He says that if this is the true nature of demons, the world is better off with less of them. This isn't right, you think. What kind of hero passes the chance to save a life? The demons have taken notice of you. It's now or never. You take off into the castle and The unreliable hero follows shortly after. You burst into the Overlord's room, all your words spilling out at once. You should probably slow down, but there's no time. The Overlord seems to have followed your frantic explanation, but clearly doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. The underling you recognized from before barges in calling you a liar. You're surprised they were a part of this evil plot. They seem so nice. The other demons come in right after them, saying the whole thing was the first underling's idea. Everyone's shouting at each other now. It's really stressing you out. You're relieved when the Overlord demands silence. She threatens them with violence, and you think she is very Overlord-like in this moment. The group of demons hiss to each other before shutting the door, leaving the little one behind. You watch as it pounds on the door in distress. Have they locked you all in? You have a bad feeling about this. And thinking that must have jinxed it, because now the room is engulfed in flames. If only I had ignored those demons before, you and the hero wouldn't have stumbled into this situation. If you had just pretended not to hear them, if you left as you were told, only the Overlord would have been killed. But you couldn't have done that. That path isn't an option for you. You think that no matter what, you'll always strive for the path where everyone survives. It must exist. It simply must. The Overlord seizes her undoing. They beg for their life. You pray. You don't know what else to do, so you just pray. The Overlord spares the underling. You feel relieved. But does it make any difference? Will you all burn together? Maiden's true ending. I'm beginning to detect a pattern. It can't end like this. You want to answer the Maiden's prayers? You've decided to find a way to save everyone? But retracing the paths you've seen so far, there doesn't seem to be any room to avoid a bad ending. Is there really nothing you can do to keep them all from getting killed in the end? If there's nothing you can do by acting from within their story, maybe it's time to take things into your own hands. Huh? Oh. They're all on fire. Ew. Ooh, what the? You boldly insert yourself into the story and use your incredible power to warp everyone to safety. Okay, well that's just kind of boring. I think we've kind of gotten all of the narrative stakes and tension. Just poof. You didn't know you could do that, but what's going on here? You take a moment to get a good look at yourself. You are you, but why are you pitch black? You feel that this body doesn't accurately represent you, but you move past it. The hero, maiden, underling, and overlord have been staring at you, too. They look like they don't really know what they're supposed to do right now. I guess that's because you're usually the one guiding them. What will you say to them? Hi. You smile awkwardly and introduce yourself. The maiden is the first to respond. My prayers have been answered. You must be... Her god? No, you're merely the player. If there was any god here, they'd be the final boss. That's just how these role-playing games go. Now you realize what the real true ending must be. Now, enough of this. I admit I've been encouraging you all along, but a self-insert story, au passé. You watch helplessly as tragedy descends from the heavens. You didn't honestly believe you're the only one who could force your way into the stage, did you? I am the narrator, storyteller, god of this world. Call me tragedy if you'd like. Darkness envelops your party. You don't mind if I send each of them back to relive one of their many bad endings, right? You are alone in the darkness with me. Tragedy. I sincerely hope you've been enjoying your time in my theater. Though I can't abide you stealing the show without permission. It's quite disrespectful. I'm sick of all these bad endings. Then frankly, you should never have come to a place called Bad End Theater. Haven't we already been over this? You think defeating me might just be the only way to see a better ending? It's all that's left for you, isn't it? Well, this does sound like it could be entertaining. Show me what you've got. Time to fight God? The stage is set for your final battle against me, the god of this world. What will you do? How will you fight against tragedy itself? I'd love to see it. Okay, tragedy. Do you attack tragedy or do you defend? I think you attack tragedy. You know, you gotta take action. If you just kind of keep defending, then, like, you know, eventually it'll break. You try your best to tear me down, but you can't seem to do any damage. You don't truly exist in this world, after all. Hey, this is no fair. You get to narrate my actions. Like, Oh, is that all? You'll never defeat me like that. Wait, let me try that again. I'll defend. You try closing off your heart to protect yourself, but it doesn't make you feel any better. Perhaps you don't understand just how outclassed you are here. Behold my beautifully tragic tales. Doesn't seeing them all again make your heart ache? You've witnessed 13 of my painstakingly crafted endings. Your heart does indeed ache for these characters. How could you want to put an end to all this? Do you truly care for them that much? They're still suffering backstage, you know. It's a shame they couldn't make it here to the end of the world. That's right, you came here to save them. You can't do this alone. Ah, summons. Gotcha. HP 13 of 13 because we got the 13 engines, I guess. Okay. You find the hero in his home, hunched over a sewing table. Your sudden intrusion scares the hell out of the poor guy. Are you some kind of demon? You explain that, no, you're not a demon. How can you explain it in a way that the hero can actually understand? Instead, you ask what he's sewing. Oh, this? I craft all my own gear. You sense his pride in his hobby. You wonder if the costumes are what attracted him to the role of hero. Would you like some clothes? You don't seem to be wearing any. You remember the state of your body and decide that yes, some clothes from the hero would be nice. He is overjoyed by your answer. Apparently his outfits are too gaudy for the other townsfolk, so no one else wants them. The true end for the hero suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change his fates. I could make a living as a tailor, rather than a hero? Please, tell me what I can do to reach that dream. The hero will now fight alongside you. I agreed to follow you, but I didn't expect to face something like this. The hero has arrived! We really couldn't have a final boss battle without him. You're the one who's been killing us, murderer. I can't truly call myself a hero until I see you defeated. We'll see about that. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Ooh, ouch. Use your willpower, hero. Your reign of terror ends here, tragedy. I refuse to give in. The hero uses his willpower to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. Okay, let's summon. You happen to find the maiden as she exits the church, her heart set on meeting a demon. Perfect timing! She approaches you, having already taken notice of your odd form. Excuse me, are you a traveler? I've never seen anyone like you before. You explain that no, you're not a traveler. Well, maybe you are. In a sense, you've come all this way. The maiden regards you with excited curiosity. Then perhaps you might be a demon? I was hoping I would meet one today. You think of all the terrible fates that hope would bring about. She is the catalyst of the story, after all. My role as a maiden is to be captured by the Overlord, but you see I've grown so tired of waiting. You remember this part. She wanted to understand her role better, and so... You ask what it is that she's really hoping to gain from this. The maiden is confused by your question. Perhaps it was as simple as wanting to reach the place she felt like she belonged? The true end for this maiden suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fates. If there's something I can do to find fulfillment, then please guide me. The maiden will now fight alongside you. What is this horrible creature? You wound me, dear maiden. Is tragedy really such a terrible thing to behold? I remember now. I remember all the awful things you put us through. Then this should be familiar to you as well. Tragedy attacks with terrible fates. Ooh. We need hope. Her true endings do exist. They simply must. The maiden hopes with all her heart to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. Alright, we need a demon lord. You enter the Overlord's room, relieved to see the fire contained to the torches on the walls. When you close the door behind you, the Overlord rises from her slumber. Who are you? Have you come to reside in my castle and serve me? You explain that no, you're not here to serve her. It's more like you've come to do her a favor. You ask why she spends all day sleeping instead of commanding her demon army. She laughs in response. Many of my underlings certainly think I should be more aggressive with the humans, like my father before me. His quest for revenge was endless and self-perpetuating. There's a reason I had to destroy him. You can't help but think it's a little late in the game to be getting some new backstory. I have no interest in waging war on the humans. I merely wish to be left alone, to live a peaceful, indulgent life in my castle. You realize she must actually be very lonely, only surrounded by soldiers instead of friends. No wonder she gets so attached to the maiden. The true end for this Overlord suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fates. My own attempts at peace have been rather imperfect. If you have a solution, then very well, I will follow you. The Overlord will now fight alongside you. I see, so this is tragedy. Ah, you've brought the Overlord. I don't stand a chance now. You've prevented me from attaining peace for long enough. Prepare to die. Ha 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 ha! I hope you're prepared to face your deaths as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Okay. We are getting worryingly low on the health. Let's try ambition. I'll reach my true ending with my own power. The Overlord uses her ambitious nature to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. Alright, we got one more. You approach the gates of the Overlord's castle. The underling is on guard duty as you expected. They call out to you. The other demon guard is sound asleep. Hey, you're a pretty weird-looking intruder. What do you want? You explain that no, you're not an intruder, although you're definitely intruding into their story right now. You tell the underling you've come to save them from tragedy. Okay, try saving me from boredom first. I hate this job. The underling snickers. You ask what kind of job they'd rather have. It'd be best if I didn't have to work at all. I just want to live a carefree life and never get bossed around or picked on. You think of the underling's friends who had bullied them into an assassination plot, only to betray them in the end. If they kept better company, maybe they wouldn't feel so restless. The true end for the underling suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change their fates. So there's a way that even work can be fun? Sounds fake, but I'll tag along with you just in case. The underling will now fight alongside you. Wait, what the fuck? You didn't say anything about the boss battle. The underling? He must be desperate to call on such an unreliable ally. Huh? If I beat this guy up, all my problems will be over? Oh, but it won't be that easy. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Ooh, that's not a good one. Ha ha ha! Now that the whole party's here, can you solve my final puzzle? Which combination of behaviors will open the path to your true ending? Show me. And I'm thinking, definitely ambition. Definitely tenacity, right? I think willpower and hope makes sense. Maybe kindness. Let's try tenacity. Knock me down and I'll just come back stronger. The underling uses their tenacity to overcome tragedy. This is it! With everyone's hearts united, you take aim toward your best possible futures. You all unleash one final attack to destroy tragedy once and for all. Oh, have we done it? Ha! 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 You've done it! You've managed to defeat me! A tragic end for tragedy itself. I love it! I must thank you all for fulfilling your roles perfectly. Thank you, hero. Thank you, maiden. Thank you, underling. Thank you, overlord. Enough of this nonsense. We defeated you, so die already. Don't worry. I'll be making my exit shortly. Finally, thank you. Most of all, we couldn't have made it here without you. Yes, my bad end theater did contain a truly good end after all. I apologize for antagonizing you for so long. I wanted to deliver a satisfying story. Was I able to do it, I wonder? It was nice, I suppose. I'm satisfied. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Happy endings shouldn't always come easily. Reality is not so kind. Ain't that the truth? But you've earned this one. Here's your true ending. Ah, the hero became a tailor. Ain't that something? Okay, man. So yeah, that's Bad End Theater. This is good music. And the underling is... Oh. Lyrics. Your true end. Exit the theater, I guess. Alrighty, yeah, so that was Bad End Theater. I suppose that's a pretty good place to end this weekend series. Because, I mean, we got the true ending. I will say, I mean, obviously, if you guys want to see more Bad End Theater, there's more of the kind of normal bad ends for us to look into. I guess we've already kind of resolved the, like, overarching meta plot, but we can dive back in, see what happens if we, say, like, plays the underling and decide to eat the maiden and whatnot. So if you do want to see us go through, get some more of those endings, and see what else this game has to offer, do make sure to show your support, likes, comments, and the like. But, otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed our stay here at the Bad End Theater, and until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, and I'll catch you in the next video, whether that be more Bad End Theater or something else. Goodbye.